Maya paced along the edge of the weather-worn dock in Clearwater Bay, her thoughts as restless as the waves below. Each creak of the wooden planks made her heart jump, as if it knew the secret she could not yet admit to herself. She had been married to Adrian for 3 years, and she loved him fiercely, his gentle hands, his quiet laughter. Maya, a child psychologist who spent her days helping young minds unravel their fears, believed she understood people. Yet now, standing in the dying light of evening, she realized how little she truly knew about the man she called her husband. Earlier that day, a black car had pulled up outside their lighthouse-style home, its engine idling like a dark omen. Uniformed officers had stepped out, their badges catching the sun, and approached Adrian with a solemn expression. Maya watched through the window as they spoke in hushed tones, saw the color drain from his face. He turned to her with a forced smile that didn't reach his eyes, lifted a trembling hand in apology, and walked away with them, out of her life and into a world of accusations she couldn't yet believe. That night, Maya lay alone on their bed, the quilt tangled around her legs. Images of Adrian with strangers in boardrooms and courtrooms filled her mind, mixing with memories of his midnight kisses and soft whispers. Her chest ached with confusion. How could the man she trusted most be accused of embezzlement and fraud? Why had he hidden these charges until they burst into her home like unwelcome guests? The moonlight filtered through the window, casting long shadows that danced on the walls, mocking her desperation for answers. Maya closed her eyes, willing herself to sleep, but instead slipped into half-dreams where faces blurred and voices echoed. He lied to you. You deserve the truth. Follow the clues. In that restless haze, a single thought burrowed into her mind. She would not let go until she uncovered every secret. Even if it meant confronting a betrayal darker than she could imagine. The following morning, Maya returned to her clinic as if nothing had happened, clasping her coffee cup like a lifeline. Her colleagues whispered in corners, glancing at her with pity or curiosity. Children she met seemed to sense her unease. One little girl tugged at Maya's sleeve and asked why she looked so sad. Maya forced a smile and said, "I'm fine," though her voice shook. By lunchtime, she could no longer ignore the hollow ache in her chest. She needed details. Calling the courthouse, she learned that Adrian's hearing was scheduled in 2 days. The charges were severe, siphoning funds from a pro bono trust he oversaw and forging documents to cover his trail. Maya pressed for more, and the clerk hesitated, lowering his voice as though speaking of a crime scene. He explained that evidence included bank statements, shredded emails, and witness testimony, enough to put Adrian away for years. Her throat tightened. She clutched the back of a chair, knuckles white. Every file, every number, felt like a betrayal from the man she thought she knew. Why would Adrian destroy his reputation? Why risk their life together? Something didn't add up. Maya's mind raced back to small oddities, the late-night phone calls he refused to explain, the way he flinched when she asked about work, the hidden flash drive she once found beneath a stack of papers. Determined to find the truth, Maya returned home early. The house felt colder without Adrian's presence. She searched his study, rifling through drawers until she found that flash drive. Heart pounding, she plugged it into her laptop. The screen blinked to life, revealing folders labeled with cryptic names. One read, personal. Another, financial. In the personal folder lay images of a man she didn't recognize, taller, with a different haircut, but the same eyes Adrian wore when he looked at her in love. Her breath caught. A second set of pictures showed 2 men together, identical twins. The shock drained color from her face. If Adrian had a brother, why didn't she know? Worse, what if the man beside her for the last year wasn't really her husband at all? Maya's hands trembled as she stared at the photographs. The man with the shorter hair smiled brightly at the camera, his arm casually draped over Adrian's shoulder. His name on the files was Leo. Questions crashed through her mind like a storm. Who was Leo? Why were these pictures hidden? And most importantly, which of these 2 men was she living with? That night, sleep eluded her. Instead, she replayed every interaction with Adrian, searching for clues that might betray Leo's presence. The gentle way he massaged her temples when she was stressed, had that been Leo's kindness, not Adrian's? The soothing lullabies he sang softly when she woke from nightmares, were they Leo's voice, not her husband's? She realized that every sweet memory might be a lie. In the early hours, Maya went into the kitchen and boiled water for tea. Candlelight flickered, and the quiet seemed to listen to her despair. She replayed the one moment that still felt real, the night they first danced in the courtyard beneath hanging lanterns. Adrian's hand had been warm in hers, he'd whispered, "With you, I am whole." Now she wondered if those words had ever belonged to her husband or if they were part of an elaborate performance by a stranger. By dawn, Maya made a decision. She would confront Leo herself. She could not wait for the truth to arrive at a courtroom. If deception lived within these walls, she would force it out. And if Leo had swapped places with Adrian, she would learn why, no matter how dark the answer. Under the pale light of morning, Maya stood at the front door, clutching the flash drive like a lifeline. She planned every word she would say, every question she would ask. Yet as the door swung open, her resolve faltered. The man who stood before her, tall, solid, and very real, smiled gently and reached for her hand. He looked like Adrian in every way she remembered, but his eyes flickered with uncertainty. "Maya," he said softly, voice trembling. "We need to talk." His tone was hesitant, unlike the confident assurance she'd known in Adrian's voice. Maya motioned him inside, heart pounding like a drum. They sat at the kitchen table, the flash drive between them like a dam waiting to burst. Leo, because it was truly him, leaned forward, jaw clenched. "I never meant to hurt you," he began, gaze on the floor. "But I needed a way out." He told her how Adrian had vanished months before under threats from dangerous creditors. Facing ruin and fearing for his life, Adrian had begged Leo, his identical twin, an out-of-work actor struggling with debt, to step into his shoes for a while. Leo had agreed, believing it would be harmless. He had learned Adrian's routines, his mannerisms, even his law notes. He had donned Adrian's suits and starred in the role of a respected lawyer. "But I made mistakes," Leo said, voice cracking. "I couldn't cover Adrian's financial troubles. I thought I could, but I just dug the hole deeper. I forged documents, I moved money, it was always meant to protect my brother, but it turned into a nightmare." Maya's hands shook. Betrayal cut deeper than she had imagined. Leo met her gaze, tears in his eyes. "When I saw your kindness, how you made me laugh and gave me hope, I wanted to keep going. Not for money, but for you." Her throat tightened. Every word felt like a blow and a bomb at the same time. She saw the man she loved in those tear-filled eyes, yet she also saw the stranger who had broken her trust. Confusion churned within her, anger, pity, longing. As the morning sun climbed higher, Maya realized her world had split in two. One side held the brother she loved, the other the man she knew. How could she rebuild her life when the foundation itself was a lie? Maya retreated to her old study, clutching her notebook as if it could anchor her thoughts. She wrote furiously, pouring out everything, her betrayal, her confusion, her lingering love for the man she thought was Adrian. Words spilled onto the pages, fear, anger, sorrow, hope, interwoven like threads that might one day form something whole again. Days passed in muted silence. Maya continued her work at the clinic, but each time she saw a child place trust in her, her own shaken foundation trembled. She tried pushing Leo away, forcing him to leave their home, but something in her rebelled against that choice. She remembered the comfort he offered when she was afraid, the way his presence calmed her restless nights. Yet anger flared each time she caught him looking at her with guilt and longing. As the trial date approached, Maya spent hours in the courthouse hallway. She watched as neighbors and colleagues filed past, whispering about the lawyer wife. She sat clutching that flash drive, unsure whether to hand it over to the defense or to keep it hidden. She recognized that every secret she revealed could save one man and condemn another. One late afternoon, Leo found her in the empty hallway, her reflection trembling in the polished marble. He spoke softly. Tell me what you need, Maya. I'll do anything. Her heart pounded. The words, I love you, hovered on her lips, but she could not say them. Instead, she whispered, I need the truth. And he nodded, tears breaking free. At that moment, they made a pact. Leo would step back fully, no more lies, no more impersonations. He would face the consequences. Maya would stand by him, not as his wife, but as his friend. Together, they would seek redemption for both brothers. The courtroom was hushed as Leo took the stand. Maya sat in the front row, her hands folded tightly. The judge peered over his glasses, the jury watched closely, and the prosecution laid out every forged document, every transferred dollar. Leo faced each accusation with quiet resolve, admitting his actions and explaining his motives. Maya's heart squeezed as she listened. She noticed Leo's chest rise and fall with each confession, the weight it cost him, the shame in his voice. When he told the court about Adrian's threats and disappearance, Maya realized how deep the brothers' bond ran, and how desperation had led them into this darkness. After the day's testimony, Maya and Leo met beneath the courthouse steps. She placed a gentle hand on his arm. You told the truth, she said. That's all I ever wanted. Leo nodded, relief and sorrow mixed in his gaze. Can you forgive me? Maya closed her eyes, feeling the ache in her chest. Forgiveness was not a single act, it was a journey. She opened her eyes and offered a small, genuine smile. I will try. As they walked away, Maya felt the world shift. Though her life had been built on lies, the act of truth-telling felt like a fresh breeze clearing winter's chill. She did not know where the road would lead, but she knew one thing, she and Leo would face it together, step by honest step. Back at home, Maya found comfort in simple routines. She brewed evening tea and lit scented candles, filling the rooms with warmth. Leo kept his distance at first, helping with chores in the silence of shared guilt. Gradually, they returned to small moments of laughter, a shared joke over burnt toast, the way Leo carefully selected music to soothe her after a hard day. One evening, Maya discovered a letter tucked beneath her pillow. It was in Leo's handwriting. Dear Maya, I am sorry for the pain I caused. Your forgiveness means more than words can say. I promise to rebuild your trust, one day at a time. Yours, Leo. Her eyes blurred with tears. She cradled the note to her heart, realizing her feelings had grown beyond pity. Beneath the layers of betrayal, she still cared for the man who had shown her unexpected kindness. Love, she decided, was not a single moment but a series of choices, choosing compassion over anger, truth over concealment. That night, she sent Leo a simple message, thank you. He replied almost instantly, I'm here. In the soft glow of her bedside lamp, Maya closed her eyes and allowed herself to hope. Hope that hearts could heal, trust could be restored, and love could find new roots in the soil of truth. Weeks later, Maya discovered she was expecting. Panic surged through her as she saw the faint positive sign on the test. Her breath caught. How could she bring a child into a life still being rebuilt? The knowledge weighed heavily, stirring fears deeper than any she had known. Leo found her in the bathroom, tears slipping down her cheeks. He looked at the test in her trembling hand and then at her face. Maya? His voice was gentle. She sank against the wall, pressing the test to her heart. I'm pregnant. Leo knelt beside her, wrapping his arms around her. We'll face this together, he whispered. But Maya could not calm the hurricane inside her. That night, alone in her journal, she wrote of joy and terror tangled together. A new life grew within her, a symbol of hope, yet also a reminder of the fractured past she carried. She wondered if she could love this child without fear, if their family could be whole after so much deception. In her dreams, she saw a baby's face, surrounded by swirling shadows and light. And a single phrase echoed in her mind, trust begins with truth. She woke determined to learn what that truth really meant for her future and the life she would bring into the world. When Maya told Leo about the pregnancy, he wept with relief and joy. He held her hands in his voice thick with emotion. "We'll be parents. We'll build a real family." Yet even in that tender moment, dark clouds hovered. There were legal battles still to face, sentencing for Leo's misdeeds, possible investigation into Adrian's involvement. Maya feared the child might grow up with whispers of scandal. She wanted a fresh start, but the past clung to them like a stubborn shadow. Determined to protect her unborn baby, Maya arranged a meeting with the prosecutor. She presented the letter from Leo, his full confession, and her willingness to testify on his behalf. Seeing her strength, the prosecutor agreed to recommend leniency, proposing community service and counseling instead of prison time. As Maya and Leo walked home, the weight of the legal system seemed to lift. They spoke in hushed voices about names for their child, the nursery's color scheme, their hopes for a peaceful life. Each step felt surreal, as if they were walking toward a new dawn. That evening, Maya paused at the nursery doorway. Soft pastel walls contrasted with the storm in her mind. She placed a hand on her belly, feeling a faint flutter. Tears came unbidden, tears of joy, fear, and gratitude. She whispered, "I will give you the truth, always." Leo stood behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "And I will protect you both," he vowed. In that moment, amid the quiet promise of new life, they found a fragile peace, built not on deception, but on honesty, courage, and a love reborn from the ashes of betrayal. The story's core lesson is that true connection and trust can only grow on the soil of honesty. Deception may offer comfort or protection in the short term, but it inevitably breeds pain and confusion. When we face our mistakes openly and take responsibility, no matter how hard the truth may be, we create space for healing, forgiveness, and genuine love to flourish. If you enjoyed this story, kindly like, share, and subscribe to Tales by Gemini Bay for more captivating stories. Don't forget to click the bell icon to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Check out our other videos for more interesting stories and adventures. See you in the next one.